Hi everybody. Thanks for coming along. Obviously, just met everyone, but my name is Brad. So I'm the head of the consumer business for ASUS across Australia and New Zealand. Thanks for coming out today to have a bit of a look at our ROG setup and in terms of our new product that we've launched very recently. Obviously, want to bring it to you guys again. Some of you have seen some of this amazing product already, but obviously it's an open event as well. So we're going to bring the consumers in a little bit later in the day and let them enjoy some of the product as well. So we will jump straight into what is a container. Something it's very common nowadays to skin a container and making an event out of it. So we've jumped on that bandwagon, and here we are today. So we'll start in the first part of the section. So if you want to just jump up here. Thanks, guys. I'll try not to get in the way too much, but obviously a little bit dark under here. I was hoping the sun would be out a little bit more today, but it's okay. The rain's gone away, so that's the main thing. So look, what we wanted just to very quickly showcase in this space is the technology that goes into the ASUS gaming notebooks, in particular our ROG range. This machine on display at the moment is the Zephyrus M16, but what we actually really want to show you guys is some of the cooling that's gone into the devices. So some of you may be familiar with the 2023 range now has a new cooling design in terms of it's actually I won't hold all three fans up, but there's a 3-fan design now as opposed to 2. So 2022 we had the two fans only. We've moved to 3 now in the in the Strix range and also the Zephyrus range as well. So in terms of the heat pipes and the cooling, it's an enormous amount of innovation and time and care has been put into the product to make sure that we obviously keep these devices cool. That's the main thing from a gamer point of view, is to ensure devices are cool and continue to run at a very cool temperature. So you're welcome to have a bit of a look, and I'm happy to pass these around. We've got these from the HQ team. So that's the 18-inch, and then there's a 16-inch version as well of that, which will show you the actual product that they're in over there on the side as well. So one of the big things, as I mentioned, sort of upgrading that cooling, but on top of that, we've also added ensuring that we've got the liquid paste in gaming notebooks as well. So a lot of machines nowadays have certain different types of liquid cooling in terms of the liquid paste that goes on the CPU. We also have it on the GPU now as well. So something that's a real key to, again, that coolness in the device. And one of the coolest things is we actually advertise all of this as well. So exactly what fan is in each machine, exactly what type of heat pipes is in each machine, what liquid metal paste is used in every machine, all the way down to the thickness of the fan blade that's used in the fans in the notebook. And it's something that, as a brand, we like to actually advertise the fact that we have something that is quite cool. It is very different, and we spend a lot of time and money investing into this type of technology. And the fact that we put it out there for everybody to understand and see is something that a lot of the reviews we've had is actually something that's come back very, very positive in that light. Sorry, I'm standing. Just very quickly touch on something as well. So obviously ASUS as a brand is huge in the gaming notebook space, but we're also quite large worldwide in the gaming phone space as well. So just to very briefly show you today, we do have a couple of our new phones on display, even the Batman edition of the ROG Phone 6, and there's also another, the Ultimate edition. So it's really cool that a lot of the features that we've designed and engineered in our gaming notebooks over the years since 2006, we've put some of those amazing technologies into our phones as well, in terms of cooling and obviously the fact that you can put a fan on a phone is just something very, very cool. And obviously as a gamer, not that I'm much of a gamer, but as a gamer, if I was one, you would want to have a cool device to make sure that your frame rates and everything are where they need to be. One of the other cool things as well, in terms of the unboxing experience of these devices as well, we've really spent a lot of time and money making sure that it's a bit of an experience, not just another phone that you're opening out of the box. We don't have it here today, but with the Batman edition, it comes in a box that's shaped like the Batman logo, comes with an actual bat signal in the box. Very, very cool. There's also a Diablo edition as well that we've spent a bit of time and money on, and obviously a collaboration with them, and there'll be a lot more of those types of collaborations to come across the ROG range. We will sort of head around this way or head that way if you like, just to sort of have a look at some of the products. Our good friend Elliot, or Muzelk, is just setting up in the middle here. Some of you may be familiar with him.
Something tells me I'm going to get an easy win on the first.
Playing. There you go, you're all over it. So just jump around a little bit more if you can. So just going through the range, and we've kind of set this up as a, if you like, a bit of a good, better, best scenario, and then obviously a very different device in the Flow itself. But excuse me, what we've got here today is the ROG Strix range, the Zephyrus, and then in the Strix range again in the 18-inch. So one of the biggest changes you'll see from our 2022 range into 2023 is we've gone away from the standard 15-inch and 17-inch in gaming notebooks, and we've actually moved to 16-inch and 18.4. So we've really moved up the stack in terms of screen size. One of the big things that's changed in that particular change is actually the screen ratio goes from 16:9 to 16:10. So you actually have more real estate on the screen. In terms of an Excel spreadsheet, it's probably about 3 or 4 rows, so not enormous, but it is a larger display physically upwards that way. The actual machines in terms of their width is still the same because the screen size grows, not the width of it. So in terms of Strix, so this is our Strix G, so more of our entry into the ROG range. Obviously we have below this our Tough range, which is our sort of value gaming range as well. But today we're just here to talk about ROG. So in terms of Strix, starting with an Intel, obviously Intel Core processors, minimum spec in this machine is a 3050 or 4050, obviously moving up into the new NVIDIA GPUs. This is your obviously you can see quite an aggressive looking machine as opposed to some of the more not so aggressive looking machines in terms of the Zephyrus. But overall, obviously in terms of what we've shown you over there with the innovation and the cooling technology, it's in all of these 3 machines here. In particular as well, one of the new technologies we've announced is the Nebula display. So Nebula display is basically a minimum spec with our panels in the devices. So in terms of Strix and Strix Scar, you'll have the opportunity to have a Nebula display in either of these, and basically that is a minimum spec in terms of the brightest colours and the sharpest refresh rates and things as well. On top of that, you then also have in our Zephyrus range, which is our more thin and light gaming device. Obviously no compromise in terms of performance, but the physical look of the machine is a little bit less aggressive, quite a nice finish and design, nice and thin and lightweight, but also has the opportunity to have Nebula HDR, so it's that next level up, one even better than what we've had previously in the standard Nebula display. So the Zephyrus as a range in 2023 has a 14-inch and a 16-inch now. So previously we'd had a 14 and a 15.6, traditional 15.6 gaming notebook. That's also moved into 16-inch as well. So our focus at the moment now is really 16, 16 and 18 in terms of ROG and the real volume SKUs in this space as well. But in the 14-inch, which kind of fit in the middle here, I guess if you like, it's still very much a good focus unit for us as well, and that more portable gaming notebook, but it's also now got the capacity to go all the way up to a 4090 graphics card in a 14-inch notebook. So it's quite an impressive little machine. We've had that around now for a few years, which is really cool and something that I'm really proud about in terms of the brand and what we do. We've got a screen size now, you might be familiar, across every range. So all the way down at the Flow in a 13-inch, all the way up to an 18-inch. So we really do have a gaming notebook for every type of consumer. I personally now use a Z13, which is a 13-inch gaming notebook for work. I don't actually play games at all, but I have a ridiculously powerful machine because thankfully I'm allowed to. But it's a perfect companion device for someone like myself in terms of traveling, on planes and things like that all the time. So it's nice that we've got that covered, and for the genuine gamers that are actually in a similar position to me, they actually can then have their nice thin and lightweight device that slips literally into a sleeve, 50 graphics built in, ready to go. So quite a comprehensive range. Without sort of going through every single SKU, like I said, we do have it 13 all the way through to 18-inch. But as you go up the stack, you obviously go all the way up in terms of the GPU and CPU options that we have available. So at the moment in our ROG, our minimum sort of would be a 13th Gen i7, and then all of these models can have the ability to go up to a 13th Gen i9 as well. Obviously the latest graphics in terms of NVIDIA from a 3050, the new the new version of that 3050 card, all the way up to 4090 in some of these machines as well. And unfortunately today we didn't have the XG Mobile available for the Flow, but that's a 4090 external graphics card that plugs into the 13-inch device. So a very cool, very cool bit of gear that obviously shows a lot of innovation. We're trying to bring something that's a bit different to the gaming community. Obviously there's a lot of product out there, including ourselves in our Tough range as well, but having ROG sort of move up the stack and having something that's a lot more premium, a lot of consumers are after this style of device, especially when we brought out the first batch of the 4080 in the 18-inch. We'd sold through our stock pretty much within a week, and it's a $5,000 machine, so it's not not exactly a cost-effective solution. So basically from the Strix range as well, we're starting at a price point around $2,999, and we do move up the stack, so around in the Zephyrus range at about $3,699 and up to $4,999 for the 4080 G series that you've got on display here today. The Flow sits in the middle, depending on the spec, but the highest spec is at $3,399 with a Core i9 processor. So a pretty impressive little tablet device that we have there. In terms of the Flow as well, now that's a separate family to, I guess, Tough, Strix, Zephyrus. We have the Flow as our additional part of that family. And in terms of there's two different devices as well. So this is our tablet version. We also have a 2-in-1 convertible version as well, in a 13-inch and a 16-inch. So it's something where we've built on that. It's not just a bit of a one-hit wonder. We've actually brought out a few different variations to make sure we've got that device for every consumer in that space. So that's kind of the quick run through of the pop-up for today. We do encourage anyone that's a gamer that wants to have a little bit of a game against Elliot or Muselk and have a bit of a go. I don't know if you'll beat him, but you can have a fair crack. But again, thanks so much for coming out today and spending some time with us. Thankfully the weather's held as well, which is perfect. So thanks guys, cheers.